we go. Shavua Tov, everyone. Baruch Hashem, we had Parshas Chodesh. Today we have Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Tuesday, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll have incredible miracles, B'ezrat Hashem, this coming month, B'ezrat Hashem. We have a tremendous story. From the Baal Shem HaKodesh. Parshas Chodesh. This is new Sichos. Can begin again. The Baal Shemtov story of this week gives an insight. Both the Baal Shemtov story and the Sichos Haran for this week, they both give tremendous insight to things that we think we know or instinctively we react to, and we got it all wrong. So let's take a look at this. And it says as follows. Once there was cholera plagued Kilos Israel. They came to Baal Shemtov. They asked him to daven for them. He said, there's a village in a certain place. There's a person, and that's his name and his father's name. They didn't have last names at that time, I think. And they went there, and when you look at him, when you find him, just pester him. Don't let him go until he'll say, B'ezrat Hashem, this tzara, this decree, you'll be relieved of this decree. They went, they figured, who was sending them was a tremendous tzaddik. If the Baal Shem Tov says that this person will say that, okay, this decree will be off you, B'ezrat Hashem, then, obviously. Okay, they got to that village and started looking, who is, the highly tzaddik, so-and-so, the son of so-and-so. Nobody had a clue who they were talking about. Then one of the villagers said, there's a drunkard here. That he has this name. What do you want from him? He's probably, sleeping on his bed, puffing. He doesn't know his right from his left. So these people went to the house of this shikker, of this drunkard. When his wife opened the door, they told him, that the Baal Shem HaKodesh sent him to her husband. So she said, he's making fun of you. Was pulling your leg. Look, take a look. My husband is drunk on his bed. And she's very bitterly, she said, the husband was immensely wealthy, but he became a drunkard. And he became poor. And all he does is drink and sleep. Drink and sleep. The minute he wakes up, he takes the bottle, for a little vodka or whiskey or whatever it is, sleep, drink, until he falls down and falls asleep again. That's all he does. Non-stop. He doesn't do anything else. He says already years it's like that. If you want to talk to him, you have to do it immediately when he wakes up, because the minute you let go, if you don't do it immediately, he just starts drinking and he's gone. The guy wonders, that's the person, Baal Shem Tov. So is there any kind of milas or madregas? Nothing. But they believed Baal Shem Tov said, so, this is what you do. So they waited. The minute he woke up, the minute he sent his hand, to the bottle, but they stopped him and said, listen, we were sent to you, so you will ask Hashem Yisbarach to get off us this klala, this curse of this plague. So he said, I'm thirsty. Let me drink a little bit, then I'll drink a little bit of schnapps, and then he says, no, you ain't drinking no schnapps until you will relent and you will be geyser. You decree that this decree will be getting off us. He says, okay. Drunkard says, okay. Kadosh Baruch Hu B'ezrat Hashem Rachama will take away from you this decree, this machla. Now let me go. Leave me alone. Okay. Let him alone, drank, and off he went. To Lava land. He came to Mezhibosh. They found out that literally to the minute that the drunkard said what he said, the decree stopped. The plague stopped all over. So when they came to Baal Shem Tov, they asked him, they begged him to please explain to them, what gives. So how is it possible that this really low drunkard, will stop this plague? Baal Shem Tov told him, let me tell you what is the koyach of one single mitzvah. He says, this person, this drunkard, was a big merchant. He was immensely wealthy, and he was drop dead gorgeous. He really was good looking. One time he came to a house of a certain Goethe. She was a widow of one of the ministers of the king over there. Well, she saw his beauty. She said to him, you have to be my husband. I will be your wife. Why do you need this wife of yours? Marry me. All my money will belong to you. All my treasures will belong to you. My houses, my fields, everything will belong to you if you're going to be my husband. You're going to be a minister amongst ministers of the land. And not only this, you're probably going to top them all up because you're much smarter than all of them. So the man says, listen, the only way that I will agree to this is if you will prepare for me this huge banquet and get all the ministers, big people. Everybody will know me over here. And from now on, they'll know that I became this celebrity, this very, very important person. That widow agreed, and she made this big party, this big shindig, and all the ministers came. And, it went deep into the small hours, the wee hours of the night, and the party was finished. Everybody went away. Before he went, to the bedroom of this widow, he went first, to the outhouse. That's the way it used to be in those days. And he heard, as far as he was concerned, he was married to her. He heard voices of woe and crying from the dungeon. There were Jews that were imprisoned there because she didn't pay the taxes that they needed to the almana, to this widow. When he heard, they're begging for mercy, he asked them, what's your problem? Why are you here? So they told him, and he had big rahmanas in there. He went to the widow and he said that she has to set them all free immediately. And when the widow set them free, that person took a wagon and horses and put the free, captives, and he sent them home. It was Mekayim Pidim Shvuim. But as you know, mitzvah goret mitzvah, one mitzvah begets another. He made one mitzvah, suddenly his heart, was swaying to the mitzvahs. He thought, how I'm going to be now with with the Goyish woman. The mitzvah is such an avera. And he ran away. He took another way. Again, he just ran away. And that time, in the Shemayim, Baal Shem Tov told him, they were paskin the verdict of this person. since he was Isaac in Pidim Shvui, he should be a tzaddik. That whatever it is that he decrees, Mishamayim, they will do. Well, it became such a tumult in Olam Elonim. What do you mean? This person now can annihilate all the decrees in the world. Midas Adin can be totally canceled out. So Midas Adin said, okay, there was a compromise that was struck. That person will become an eternal drunkard. He will drink and get drunk, and until to the point that he wouldn't even know what's happening in the world. So now you know why the words of this shikr, come true. And really, it's a great sakana to ask him, to decree to command the Beis Din Shalmala, but something that has to do with all the Yiddish nation. We had to use this ultimate weapon, and now, says the Baal Shemtov, you need to know the power of one mitzvah. Let's talk about this particular Indian. We live here in a world that we have no idea what's what. What's the koach of a mitzvah? What's the koach of an avera? I mean, we have in mind, like, maybe when you do a mitzvah, that you get this like magic wand in your hand and you do something, and everything good will happen to you. Or if a person does an avera, that all of a sudden, boom, he will see that his world is lost, and it doesn't work like that. We have absolutely no idea what brings what. And not only that, it's not only that. We do not understand what is the koyach of our good times and our bad times. We know good times when things go your way, you daven properly, you learn, you got a good job, and things are going your way, and so forth and so on. Bad times, it's the opposite. You don't daven that well, you don't, whatever it is, and even fall into Averis, whatever it is that happens. And we figured, we only want the good stuff to happen to us. This is what we want. The bad stuff is us falling onto bad times and really missing the boat, and but this is not the Metzias. The world has two basic powers. Rabbeinu calls it koich hamoshech. That's gravity, the power that pulls in. And then there is koich hamachriach, the forcing power. That's the power that forces away. It's like when you're standing on the ground, okay? The ground has the pulling force, the gravitational force, to make you stand on the ground. If it didn't have that koich, everybody will fall off the earth, be floating in the air. So the gravitational force puts you down. On the other hand, you can take a stone or something and lob it up in the air, like throw it all the way up in the air. Commensurately with how much force you have thrown this, with how much force you have thrown that stone or ball up in the air, this is how high it will go, how long the ascent will be. But the koach hamachriach, the forcing force, is temporary. The koach hamoshech, the gravitational koach, is constant. So what happens? You throw it up in the air, stone, the ball, whatever, and it starts falling down. It falls down, and the quicker, the closer it gets to the earth, the quicker it has fallen. This koach hamoshech, this gravitational koach, is the essence of
זה אני עושה סלט למאמי מחר ויהיה לך את זה לאחר צהריים.
as us being Jewish, us being spiritual, is the koach hamoshech of the Mishkan that we learned today, in Parshas Shmini, the inauguration of the Mishkan. The koach Mishkan is v'shachanti b'trichon. That's the gravitational force of the koach Eloki, the divine force of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of the tzaddikim. Now, in this world, we don't see what's going on. We don't see what leads to what and what is worth what. And so what happens is there is, in occasions of, not just occasions, there is a constant surge of koach hamachriach, the forcing force that keeps us away from where we need to go, from the earth, from the gravitational force. We look at it as, whoa, that's a bummer. When you're standing on your feet on the ground, when you're sitting close to Kadosh Baruch Hu, when you're close to Ruchnius, that's good. This is when things are good. But, when things are forcing you away, could be taivas, could be machshavas, all kinds of licentious thoughts and talk and deed and Hashem Yirachem, whatever it is. This is when things go bad. We only want the gravitational force. Those are seichel. It's shtickle seichel. We want the koach hamoshech, the gravitational force. We want to be closer to Kedusha. But all the time we have these things that are pulling us away. And here I felt this. Here I had this machshav, Hashem Yirachem, what I thought. And here I take a look at this. And here, I wish it wouldn't happen. But that's wrong. Reb Nosson writes in Kut Halachos that this is the very careful balance between the gravitational force and the force that forces you away. Together, they are comprising the root of all advancement. And he takes, for example, he takes a watch. In those times, they had a pocket watch, whatever it is. He says, today everything is digital, but it used to be that the watches, the hand wound watches, what they had this a piece of steel, it was a long piece of steel. It was like very, very thin. And what it was is it was rolled up. Now, this straight piece of steel, all it wanted to go is just, just going just straight out. And what you do is you wound it. You wound it. The more you wound it, the more you forced it. The more you forced it into, and what happened is its will was just to koach hamoshech, just to become straight again. But you forced it, to be coiled. Now, and then you do something very, very cruel. You put a gear. And what happens is the gear comes to the watches used to be that the gear would touch, one of the teeth of the gears, and it would the force of the coil would move it a little bit, and then it stopped, and it moved another wheel, which moved another wheel, and then another nudge, then another nudge, and then another nudge. It let the coil free itself a little bit, and then it stopped it. Like taking the neshama out. That combination of the force of Koach HaMoshech and the forcing force against it together, you end up with a watch that can tell you what time it is. The same thing happens in a car, at least combustion cars. Combustion engine cars, you have a force of an explosion, which is it's koach hamoshech. Boom, it goes out. You put a koach hamachriach, the forcing force, to hold it in. You channel it, inside a cylinder, and it starts moving a crankshaft, and then and that car can drive. All the mechanical things in the world are working, on a combination of koach hamoshech, the gravitational force, and koach hamachriach. That's the forcing force against it. The same thing is spiritual. We have a koach hamoshech to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And all the time we have koach hamachriach that forces against it. We hate it. They're like, it lowers our self-esteem and it makes us feel worthless. But it is that play between the koach hamachriach and koach hamoshech that gives meaning to everything we do. It moves our clock. It builds us. So we have no idea what is a mitzvah, what is an avera, what they're worth. I mean, we know what a mitzvah is, what avera is, obviously, but what is the give between them, those two? We have no idea. Reb Nosson says, and we'll see it later on in Sichos Haran for this week. Reb Nosson says, a person should be perfectly willing to accept that everything he does in Avodas Hashem, all his tefillos, all his Torah, all his mitzvahs, everything, take this sum total of everything that he's ever done, for that sum total to save him one time from one avera. And says not just one avera, deraisa, even a thought of an avera, from one taiva. No, from one. Don't do what you're so supposed to do. Everything you have ever done throughout your life should save it from one. Take it. It's kedai. It's a deal. Grab it. You will be robbing the Yetzer Hara blind. I don't understand. A person should. I learn Torah. I'm doing mitzvahs. Things should be going well for me. My children should all grow up to be B'ezrat Hashem tzaddikim gemurim, and look what I went through. Look what I've given up, and you should be willing for this to save you one time, not just from Avera D'Oraisa. I hear Avera D'Rabbanan, a taiva, a yen for something you really should. Everything you've ever done in your life. It's not full stop to where this all goes. That's the reality of this world. There's no other reality. This is it. Time is flying. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It's not possible to acquire anything in this world. Nothing that you ever acquire in this world is worth anything. Nothing lasts. The only thing is you connect your machshava to Olam Haba, and remember, if you just save yourself from one avera, one thought of avera, one sofek a yen of an avera, it's kedai. Everything's kedai. That's the real ratio of what's going on here. Let's take a quick look, Mizat Hashem, to Sichos Haran for this week. And Rabbeinu takes this particular why does it show me everything? Hold on. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is a scary sikha. Last week we learned about a little bit about Pesach and Chumras. Rabbeinu said it's not needed. Today's 236 Sichos Haran. Rabbeinu said to one person who was very, very ill, lo aleinu, and his Yisurim were unbelievably difficult because he was sick and he was confined to bed and he had toothache. And quite, a long time, when unbelievable, we all know what a toothache is like. He says, it was immeasurable until his face, blew up. And they had all kinds of tricks they had to do. The doctors, they had to take out his teeth. And he had also illnesses inside, like we have people today with heart diseases and kidney diseases, dialysis, whatever it is, it was in those. And he was a great choiler until he died. And his Yisurim were immeasurable. Lo aleinu v'lo aleichem. And Rabbeinu Zichrono Livracha said that all these Yisurim that he suffered, this hard, bitter Yisurim that he suffered for years. They are all far better and far superior for one burn in Gehenna. One burn in Gehenna is worth than everything that this person went through. People say, maybe you shouldn't tell children, about Gehenna and about this, about that. This type of said, you have to tell your children there's Gehenna. There is Gehenna. There's Gan Eden, there's Gehenna. You should tell them. When they're small, let them know. Scare them out of their wits. They need to know. Rabbeinu is telling us, Yisurim of years and years and years. They had to pull his teeth out. They're talking about, and there was no Novocaine in those days. And all the inner illnesses that Shem Rachem, this person, Rabbeinu says, all this is much better than one little burn in Gehenna. We have people around us, our brothers, our own flesh and blood, some are children, our siblings, maybe parents, that have brainwashed themselves. They were brainwashed by society, and they keep on brainwashing themselves that everything is fine, and we can do whatever it is we want. And when you tell them what's going to be in Oil Nabo, what's going to be with Gehenna, So they asked a question. I have a cousin. When I told him this, he said, did anybody come back from there, from after dying and tell you what's going on? And when you come, it's not a question, obviously. That's the proof. What is the proof? They have to come back in order to let you know what's going on. You're dumbbell. A goy, the physicist Blaise Pascal said, he says the heavenly wager. It's a very famous Pascal says, everybody should take a wager on Hashem. If you pass your life and there's nothing afterwards, you dedicate your entire life into Avodas Hashem, whatever, you'll be happy as anything. You'll be moiser nefesh, you can jump into fire for Torah. If chas v'chalil there's nothing afterwards, you won't even have a millisecond to regret why did you throw your life away. But what will you do if you're wrong? What will you do? Say, there's nothing, and then suddenly you find it, and not only is it not nothing, but Yisurim for years and years and years is far better than one little burn of Gehenna. It seems to us like, okay, we know what's going on, There's a Levaya, they go, they put the person on the ground, they cover it up, they have such a matzeva, and this is a matzeva, there's flowers, there's not flowers, whatever it is. Then we go home and it's Shiva, whatever it is, and Shloshim, they have a matzeva, whatever. Do you know what's going on? You know what the Shiva is? The first 3 days, the different halachas, whatever that needs to be done. The 7 days is halachas. What is this for? It's not for the living. The Gemara says that all the Avelis is Zikar the Shachvi. You're sympathizing with the Niftar. The 3 days after the Niftar is being put into the bed, into the grave, are the hardest time. That's why an Oval is not allowed to say Shalom, not to return Shalom to anyone. Then 7 days, and after 7 days it becomes a little easier. After 30 days, it's still easier, and after a year, it's still easier. People don't realize one little burn of Gehenna is worse than all these surim in the world. What do you think? They put them in the ground and that's it? If these people don't feel anything, they don't see it. Then that's what it is. Odom HaRishon, Baruch Hu told him, the minute you eat from Chet Etzadas, the day you eat from Chet Etzadas, from Etzadas, motamut, you're going to die. You'll for surely die. No, he ate from Etzadas and he didn't die. You see, he lived for almost 1,000 years. He lived for so long. He actually gave 70 years to David HaMelech. 930 years. That's a pretty long time. Without nursing home, without anything.
No
What
problem.
happened? Kadosh Baruch Hu says the day that the day you'll eat from Eitz Hadas, you shall surely die. So, of course, there are many terutzim, to what is this? So basically, the conventional teretz is that the life that he had before was eternal life. The minute that he ate from Eitz Hadas, he was doomed. It doesn't matter how long it took. That day he became doomed. Okay, so he lived for another 900 years, but it doesn't matter. It was already a life within it. It's already mortal. It's a quantitative difference that cannot be between forever and 1,000 years. That's the conventional teretz. But there is another deeper understanding of what was going on, and this is very, very important to understand. So the Odom HaRishon had, Keren Achas Hayta B'Mitzcha. He had one horn, as it were, on his head. That's the place where the tefillin goes. By a baby, there's the cranium. This is where it's soft. Odom HaRishon was connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That connection gave him a life. He was so connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu is eternal. He was also eternal. It's a different level of life. The minute he ate from Chet Eitz Hadas, he died from that level and started living on our level. which already has a certain, quantity that's it. 120 years, whatever it is, and you go home. But it's not a question of time only. It's a level of living. We are not even close to the kind of life that Adam Arishon had in Gan Eden. The same thing applies to the person that is in the kever. The person in the kever is alive. Compared to us, it is dead. But the difference in the level of life between a nifter in the ground and us is much smaller than the fall that we have had from Adam Rishon Gan Eden to our level. We are considered dead compared to the life at Adam Rishon Gan Eden before the Chet. Shlomo Melech says, Al tedam she'ol bes. Don't imagine that the netherworld is a place for you to escape to. Don't make this mistake. It's not only for the bad, it's also for the good. We just learned the koich of tremendous koich of a mitzvah. The Yid, who is this? This Yid actually had it in mind. He's going to marry this guy. He says, go ahead, let's make a party. Let all the people, the great people, all the celebrities come over. Jack Nicholson, Puff Daddy, all those guys. Let them come. Let them come to the party. The president of the United States will drop by. Everybody will drop by. Everybody will see, what a big guy I am. And then he just happens to go out, goes to the outhouse, and he happens to see those Eden that are in jail. He was going to do an Avera. He got married to a Goite. One mitzvah, freeing the captives. There's another mitzvah he ran over from the Goite. In the eyes of this world, what happened to him? He lost being number one, being a minister, being a big guy, being married to the most desirable woman in the land or whatnot, riches, whatever it is. And what did he become a drunkard, become an addict, just a drunkard who there was an alcoholic all day, and but did not even daven, nothing. What do we know? What do we understand? We spoke on Thursday a little bit about this Indian of how do you get to feel that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is speaking to you at all times? Turn on Dalet in Likutim Aram. Kadosh Baruch Hu speaks to you, he sends you a thought, a talk, and a deed. Even a thought in Nevera. Everything the Xera of a decree of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And when Kadosh Baruch Hu speaks to you and tells you something with everything that goes on. I had a guest for Shabbos today, so we spoke about it. He said, how do you get to this level if you're able to hear and feel what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to tell you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling you in everything that happens to you? We spoke about it on Thursday. The way you do it is you keep on asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything. You're going to eat? Food is right in front of you. Say, Ribono Shel Olam, please give me food. But the food is right there. Please give me food. Having this food will go down my stomach, will satisfy me, that my food will be my medicines. I'm going to sleep, it will help me to fall asleep. I should have good dreams, al de malach, and so forth and so on. The more you daven for everything, the smallest thing, just tying your shoes. Help me tie my shoes. What you're doing is you're turning every event in your life from a Gashmistic event into a divine event. Your life become one series of godliness from beginning to end. You acquire the Keli, and with this you can hear Kadosh Baruch Hu talking to you through everything. You stop measuring things according, it's fun, it's not fun, I'm bored, I'm not bored. I like it, I don't like it. Everything becomes a divine language, a divine conversation between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, as we are approaching Chodesh Nisan, Benisan Nigalu, we were saved during Chodesh Nisan, we were redeemed. Benisan Asidim Ligal, B'ezat Hashem, we'll all be redeemed. B'ezat Hashem, this Nisan, B'ezat Hashem. We'll have Yeshuas Niflos, B'ezat Hashem, Nisim Nifloim, B'ezat Hashem. Begashmias, Beruchnias. I mean, it's a different opportunity to speak about what's going on with the Lamdat Torah. They're stupid. They don't understand that Torah is what we exist for. When we got the Torah 3,400 years ago, most of those times we didn't have no state, no country, no nothing, no nationality, no Yom Ha'atzmaut, no nothing. The only thing that kept us together is Torah. From Yemen to Ukraine to anywhere. We're in the same tefillin, they're in the same Torah, everything. It's the Torah. Okay. Which Baruch Hashem should turn their hearts, should let me understand a little bit that right now we need soldiers, this is true. But without Torah, there's nothing what to fight for. Shem Yazor, B'ezat Hashem, U'B'zocher, B'ezat Hashem, to Yeshua Shaleimo, all the Kraken shall be refuah, B'ezat Hashem, Amadon Lokal in Selma, but Florence, B'ezat Hashem, Shadem, Richos Yamin, Koyach, and strength, and Simcha, to her and to all of us. ונזכה בעזרת השם, בביאס גואל צדק, במהרה בימינו אמן, בעזרת השם. Okay. Wait. I want to stop.